Well, I'm getting ready to leave camp. I think they might be calling for some rain today. I can't remember. I think there was chance of showers and that. My knee is bad. It really hurts. Woke me up all through the night and I'm hobbling. I kind of wrapped it with vet tape, but I can walk, but I hobble and I'm slower. I need to make it to Islet Lake. That's where my site is. And then I can determine if I hike out through Rain Lake tomorrow or if I can keep going. And the problem is today is my biggest day. It's over 16 kilometers and there's a few really good climbs. But I'm gonna take it slow and steady, and that's all I can do. All right, let's go. Watch out, little toad. So I've made it to the junction for the second and third loop. Third loop is this way. The markers are going to be red now for the third loop. My knee's actually feeling pretty good right now. Certain movements, there's a shooting pain, but I'm feeling pretty good. My pace is a little bit slower because I'm being a little bit more careful, but I think I'm gonna be okay. We'll see. But there's a nice breeze, it's overcast. Right now the weather's pretty good. I don't recall this from before. I'm at Pincher Lake, northbound in the third loop, just past the third Pincher site. And there's now an emergency site here. I think this is great. I wonder if we'll see any more along the way. I'm just at the top of Stammer Lake. Just had lunch. It's a beautiful spot. I've always liked it. It's considered to be a lookout over there, but it's pretty overgrown. You can't really see much, but it is a beautiful coniferous spot at the top of this mountain. I think I have about 9 kilometers until I reach my site. The worst of the climbing's done now, and my knee's holding out pretty well, so I'm hopeful. Anyway, just a little update. It's starting to drizzle a little bit, hoping I can avoid rain gear, but at least it's not as hot, and there's a decent breeze at the moment again. Not as many bugs. I was just stopping and admiring this section that I'm in here. There's hardwoods, lots of beech, lots of yellow birch and hemlock and spruce. Some of these beautiful rocks. And then I just turned around. Now let's look at this beautiful chaga. You can make a coffee type drink out of this. But remember, you're not allowed to pick in provincial parks. It's protected. So leave it for the next person to see. We'll say the third section, the third loop, there's a lot more moose scat on the trail, fresh tracks. Let's see if I see a moose again. I saw a moose here a few years ago. A big bull here in the third loop near Rainbow Lake. Still a day away, but that would be pretty awesome to see from afar again. These are pink moccasin lady slipper orchids. You see they're going to seed. They've already flowered. The sides of the trails are full of them here. It must be beautiful in May and June. Wow, how special. Islet Lake 4. So Islet 4 is about a kilometer from the main trail. So it's going to add a kilometer each way, and there's quite a climb I'm going to have to do in the morning. But hopefully the site's nice. Let's see. I've never seen this site before. I got my tent set up. There's like no level ground. It's a big site. I think it's a pretty old site, but there's nothing level, or what is level, like down in here and over there are part of like it's where the rain goes if it starts raining. So I'm on a slope. What are you gonna do? Anywho, gonna get supper going and maybe chill out a little bit. What's in my cook kit? So this is my bear bag. By the way, this new fabric, it's hand dyed, it's waterproof, it's seam sealed, and the performance has been really good. So more on that soon. Now I generally keep my food kit, my cook kit in my bear bag. That way it's all in the same place. So I have a little DCF bag for my cook kit. This is still a prototype. Stay tuned. I have a 750 milliliter titanium pot with a little homemade koozie, one on the lid as well. I have my 50-foot hank of Ultra Glide bear line and my rock sack to hang my bear bag. My alcohol stove, titanium as well. Titanium windscreen. And I have a tiny little J-cloth cut in half to wash out if I need to. Oh, and I also have a long handle polished bowl titanium spoon. So all I do is I boil water, I rehydrate. I don't cook when I'm out here because I cook in real life. I don't need to do it when I'm here as well. Well, the no-see-ums were devouring me. It was brutal as I tried to eat my supper and hang my bear bag and get my water ready for the morning. Yeah, today was about 16.5 kilometers or so. Like I said, the site's not amazing, but it is what it is. And tomorrow I'll be making my way to Rainbow. I'm pretty sure I'm going to continue. My knee held out really well today. Little sore in certain motions, but otherwise it's feeling okay. There's no swelling, so I think I just strained it. But who knows? Anyway, I'm hunkered down in my tent because the no-see-ums were devouring me. Oh my god, I got welts all over. But I figure tomorrow I'm gonna hike to Rainbow, which is about 15-ish. And then I'm booked for the following day for Thunder Lake, because that was the only site that was available. But I may just hike out the following day it'd be about 19 kilometers out on Saturday, but if not, Saturday will only be like a 7-kilometer day. And then just sitting at camp, and if the no-see-ums are like this, then it's not going to be as much fun. But it was a nice day, and yeah, now I'm just talking shit. Okay. Just heading out from Islet 4. I had a really rough night. I couldn't fall asleep. I kept waking up, and needless to say, I didn't get a lot of sleep. It rained a little bit throughout the night, so my tent's a bit wet. But yeah, I'm feeling really tired today. I don't know what it was. I was tired and I just could not sleep. But what are you gonna do? Heading out, I have just around a kilometer or so until I hit the main trail again. It is overcast, it is muggy, and the mosquitoes are pretty bad this morning. But at least the sun's not blaring and it's not too hot yet. Oh yeah. So we're at an intersection right now. If you go this way, that is the old trail. And on the new Algonquin Park maps, that trail to East End Lake is no longer on those maps. However, if you look at the trailhead map that's still in the parking lot, it still shows it as a route, and it's no longer maintained. I just met two ladies maybe an hour ago who took that way yesterday accidentally, about 5 kilometers, and they almost got caught having to stay out there overnight. On these maps, we're here. This is the old route to Rainbow Lake. It is no longer maintained, and there's a lot of washouts and water crossings. Instead, we go down here to where it meets the second loop again, and we come up here to Rainbow Lake. So the trail actually follows a portage to Lady Slipper Lake. It's not the clearest, and unfortunately, even the unmaintained old trail still has trail markers, so it's easy to figure out that, yo, I'm on the right trail. So we take the portage to Lady Slipper Lake. We're almost at the stream crossing from the last junction we were at. And it's easy to see how it's confusing taking the out of service unmaintained trail, because this portage trail doesn't have a single marker on it. We're not going to hit a marker until we cross over onto that side. But take the portage trail. Well, I just stopped at the Gervais campsite right near Otter Paw. Just to have a little break, grab some water. I'm going to filter that in a moment. And to air and dry my feet a little bit. Quite mucky today. But look what was left in the fire pit. People have left all their garbage. That's really bad, leave no trace. Also plasticized, none of that should be burnt, and that's going to attract wildlife. Pack out your trash. Now, every site that I've been to, and all along the trail, I'm finding toilet paper. There's toilet paper everywhere. There's toilet paper over here. There's toilet paper up there on the trail. But look at this. There's a Thunderbox right there, and it's right where you camp. Furthermore, along the trail, you should be going off the trail to use the washroom, but pack out your toilet paper or bury it, or take a step up and use a pea cloth. But right along the trail, toilet paper. Pack it out, people. Looks like there's another emergency site here at Otterpaw West. It's nice to see that they're making some emergency sites. Sometimes when you book something, you just can't make it to your next spot, or you get injured. I'm on the final leg, probably about the last kilometer I'm finishing up to get to Rainbow Lake. I will say the east side of the Red Loop has always been my favorite because it's the most challenging. Lots of creek and water crossing. Just came through a swamp down there. It is stunning. How could you not love being out here? We've made it back to the second loop, and this is the intersection where East End Lake, where we turned at Lady Slipper, would have come out here. I believe that at the time, the mileage was less, but it must have been too hard to maintain. But that trail is no longer maintained, and from what I understand, it's not very passable anymore. Oh, we're back to the yellow blazes. Well, this appears to be the first site on Rainbow Lake, but it's a out of commission site. Site 1 and 2 are the next two sites. But the good thing to know is that this site could be used as an emergency site if needed. There's enough spots to set up a little shelter or tent. So I'm going to call this an emergency site on Rainbow Lake, even though it's not listed as such. If you look on the reservation system, it's marked as a non-operational site. But always good to know that there's an option if you need it. Rainbow Lake, Site 1. Off the path, but it's not that much mileage, just a little bit. And you get a private site. It's a large site, but unfortunately the only really kind of flattish spots right now are in kind of divots where we're expecting a chance of a thunderstorm tonight. Could flood or soak through, but I plan on hiking out tomorrow, so I'm gonna do it. Last year, I had to patch my Thermarest Neo X Lite. I used the included patch, and then I put a piece of tenacious tape on it, and it's held up pretty well. The last few days, every night, I'm losing air again. It's not through there, it's somewhere else. I will try and find the hole and patch it when I get back home. But this sleeping pad has been through the ringer, and it's held up really well, and I've liked it. Now, if I got myself a new sleeping pad, I've been looking into the Tensor sleeping pads that have the same R value. I believe they're 4.2 as well, and they're a bit wider. This is a large pad, but if you have gone from the Neo Air X Lite to the Nemo Tensor, let me know what you think about it. Drop a note in the comments, let me know, because I may be looking for a new sleeping pad. Well, I will admit, this campsite used to have a 3-piece bench system, and it was beautiful. It's no longer here. I don't know what's going on with that. With all the garbage that I've seen on the trail and fire pits, this is my trash. Every piece of wrapper, even contact lenses that I took out, it's all being packed out with me. Pack out your trash, leave no trace. Well, it is morning of day 5. I've been out for 4 nights. I'm about to leave Rainbow Lake, and I think I'm going to hike out today. Thunder Lake is only 7.5K from here, which is the site I have booked, which is the only one available between here and the trailhead. And so it should be about 19 to 20 kilometers to get to my truck. I think I'm going to do it. The weather, it was supposed to be just overcast and kind of sunny breaks, but unfortunately it's been also raining. So my tent's wet, and you know what? My air mattress has been leaking, and I'm here to hike, not so much camp. So even though I do love camping, part of what I love about backpacking is the hiking to the destination to make it worthwhile. So I'm gonna hike out and see what today brings. I'm at the lookout just over Susan Lake. Decided to stop. There's like a little log bench here. Yay! And maybe have a little snack for breakfast and then be on my way. Fuck you. Oh, you fucking cunt. Yeah, that's a no. Everything is just rotted. Whew, Lord. Looks like there's another emergency site here on Red Wing Lake. So I guess Algonquin Park has been changing some of the sites. So for instance, before Red Wing Lake had 2 sites on it, but now it looks like it's just 1 site with the second site as an emergency site. I think this is actually really good planning. That way, if people are stuck, they have somewhere to stay. If they underestimate their abilities, if they get injured, whatever, I think that's a really good plan. So someone I met on the trail, we were talking about the emergency sites, and from what they understood, they read something that Algonquin Park is shutting down a few sites here and there in the backpacking sites to try and limit the amount of people coming through, which I actually thought was really great because I guess there's been quite an influx of users. Hence closing some of the sites and turning them into emergency sites and it'll help with some of the restoration of the sites as well. I was just at Thunder Lake, at the site I was going to be at a little while ago. Nice little site. It's actually 8.5K from Rainbow to Thunder Lake 1. And it's funny because you can see we're getting closer to the trailhead. It's still quite a few hours away, but we have had bridges that were completely, or log bridges that were completely rotted. And then we got this new fancy one. Look at this. Oh, nice. So, looks like I might be pushing over 20K today. We'll see. The mileage is always off on the map, so here we go. Just hit where the second loop meets the first loop. We're heading out towards the west gate, and the markers are going to be blue again. It's about 5 kilometers to, I think, the Guskawa campsite, and 4 from there, so I probably still have 9-10K before I'm out of here. But the sun came out. There's a nice breeze. It almost feels like a fall day. It is beautiful out right now. And once you hit Thunder Lake, from there on in to the west gate, it's pretty wide, usable trail. Well, I'm finishing up the last 4 or so kilometers to the trailhead, to the parking lot. So, as I've mentioned, this is not my first time hiking this trail. Although it is my first time hiking it in any other time other than October. Pros and cons. Pro, the trail's a lot drier than it is in October. You don't see as many rushing creeks and such, but muck that's like this is actually more passable than it is in October. And I believe that also goes through the spring, from what I understand. It's warmer, so you don't need all the heavy gear. However, it's a lot busier this time of year. So I've seen more people in this trip than I've seen on all my trips together. There's also a few bugs, but that's not the end of the world. But all in all, it's been a great trip, and I'm looking forward to coming back here again. You know, this trail is rugged and beautiful. As I mentioned, there's no epic views or vistas, but everywhere you look, there's beauty. Just on the last leg. In total, it'll be 79, 80 kilometers. I'll have to double check. It varies each time depending on the sites that you stay at and how far the side trails are. But it's been a great trip. I'm so grateful that my knee held out and I didn't have to bail. And finishing this trip with a nice sunny day, you couldn't ask for better. We're done the Western Uplands. Time for a burger and a beer. Oh yeah.